What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. First off, Happy New Year to everyone. This video is kind of a New Year special but also a 200k special, I don't really know what to call it, but regardless it is special. This is something a lot of people have suggested, and since it's the end of 2021 now, there's no better time than the present. Get it? 2021? Android 21? No? Okay, cool. Anyways, today we will be putting Android 21 into canon. Obviously we're going to have to take some creative liberties here, but you'll see what I mean as the series goes on. For this video, let's set a like goal of 4,000 likes. If we hit that, I'll continue with another part of the series and make it a full scenario. Anyways, let's begin the story. So we're going to start off with a brand new original arc. I mean, it's kind of necessary to introduce this big character. And in order for this to work, it has to be after the Buu Saga. You'll see what I mean. So we could put this in between the Buu Saga and Battle of Gods, sometime within that time skip, maybe a year after the Buu Saga ended. That feels reasonable to me. The Red Ribbon Army has been a threat before. It was defeated by Goku once, and then again once the androids arrived, but it seems that they didn't do a good job. There's one last contingency plan from Gero. It seems like it's kinda overkill, but he did make one more backup. When his lab was destroyed, they seem to have forgotten something, deep underground, even below where Cell was. There's one project that barely made it out. A project was developing this whole time, and much like Cell, it was getting DNA from other people. And at a certain point, it seems that enough data is collected. With the advent of Majin Buu, this project gathered some really valuable data. The DNA of Majin Buu himself. Although this is a double-edged sword, it does result in a highly sophisticated android with great powers, but also it results in a highly unstable android. The project awakens, in the middle of a bunch of rubble where the lab used to be. She's confused, but she puts two and two together and realizes that the lab was destroyed, and somehow she made it out alive. She looks around. There's no other projects around here. Everything's been completely obliterated. Well, it kinda makes sense. She was in the deepest part of the lab, in a part that was way more protected than anything else, deep underground. And she wonders, is she the only android that actually made it out alive? This is Android 21, the most advanced android Gero's ever made, even more so than Cell. Although that great power also brings along great uncertainty. With the addition of the Majin cells, she's now mutated. She could probably even go berserk at some points without even realizing. She begins researching. She wants to see if there's any other androids around, and especially wants to see if Goku's still alive. He is the main target after all. And then after that, she could do whatever she wants, gain more power, gain more data and intelligence, and most importantly, eat a bunch of good food. She begins researching and trying to find ways to contact the other androids. And from the data that she does have, she's able to actually create a device that helps her locate them. She can't sense the key of them because they don't have any, but they are mechanical, which means there might be a way to find them. And it seems that there's only two that are still alive, androids 17 and 18. That's weird, she would have expected Cell or something, but she might as well check this out. Maybe the androids actually made it out alive, killing everyone and fulfilling the goals of Gero. She goes to seek out one of them, and closest to her there's an android on a secluded island. It's Android 17. It's a pretty peaceful day for him, but out of the blue, some random researcher shows up. It's a girl in a lab coat and he has no idea what she's doing here. Well, he does get these from time to time. People trying to research different animals here, but he doesn't really like that. So immediately he asks what her business is. If she's looking to take one of the animals for tests or anything, she'd be better off leaving now. But she reveals who she actually is. She's another android too. This guy, he definitely is one of Gero's projects. And 17's pretty taken aback by this. Another android? He thought after Cell was defeated there were no more besides him and 18. She begins explaining even more. And she asks what happened to the lab. She assumes that 17 and 18 destroyed it. Well, not actually. They did actually end up killing Gero, but they weren't the ones to destroy the lab. And 17's already getting suspicious. If there is another android from Gero, that definitely means that there's another villain around. And 17 can already see what she's trying to do. He says that he doesn't want to team up with her. He's not one of them anymore. And to be honest, if he were evil, he would still not be carrying out Gero's orders. That's strange, he's not loyal to Gero anymore? What, did he kill Goku and just go off on his own? Nope, Goku's still alive actually. Wait, what? Why haven't they killed him? 17's starting to feel annoyed now. He tells her again, she'd be better off leaving. He can already tell what she's trying to go for and he's not going to let her have it. Well, 21 sees no other choice. She doesn't care that he betrayed the Red Ribbon Army. What she does care about is that 17 isn't on her side. She powers up and 17 responds the same way. If they're gonna fight, at least take it away from the island. He surrounds her with a bunch of shields, then hitting her with a powerful blast that launch her over the water nearby. He flies out over the sea, and she breaks the shields around her. A fight begins between the two of them. And at first, it seems that the two are pretty evenly matched. 17 actually has gotten a lot stronger since they last encountered Goku. Or at least Cell. He never actually did get to see Goku. But he's still concerned. If this is another project of Gero's, she could be pretty strong and maybe even trying to absorb him. This might not be her full power, and that becomes apparent pretty quickly. 21 begins overpowering 17. But that's not the only person it concerns. Far away on another part of the planet, Goku is currently with his family. He, Gohan, and Goten are just hanging out together. sparring for a bit of fun with nothing serious going on in terms of training. But Gohan senses something weird, and Goku feels the same thing too. They sense a strong presence far away, and they're not entirely sure, but it feels malicious. Gohan's eyes widen. He tells Goku, it feels kind of familiar, doesn't it? Like they could sense the different auras of different people. And Goku feels it too. Whatever this is, it has the keys of people that he knows. And it reminds Gohan of one thing, Cell. This is similar to what Cell's key felt like, a mixture of everyone else's, but it can't be Cell, right? Gohan's 100% sure that he died. And it's been so long too, why would he appear now if that is him? They also remember they did destroy the lab, so it can't be present Cell. Maybe another Cell actually showed up though. What if there was one from another timeline that showed up? Or worse, what if the one from Trunks' timeline actually won, killing Trunks and taking the time machine? This is bad, really bad. Goku ends up teleporting away with Gohan and Goten. He doesn't really want Goten to come along because he thinks this might be too dangerous, but Goten insists, so he joins them. Goku gets there and the three of them almost fall in a pool of water, but they're able to catch themselves and fly up right before that happens. And they look around, they're on an ocean maybe. They can't see anything except an island nearby, but they look around them and see. There's two people clashing. One of them they can't sense, and one of them is that key that they just sensed before. The two people stop fighting, immediately recognizing who these people are, and Goku has no idea what's going on, but Gohan knows who one of them is. That's Android 17. Wait, 17? 17's equally as surprised as them, as is 21. Goku asks what's going on and why they're fighting, and why is 17 involved. 17 says he'll save the introductions for later. All they need to know is that this is another android made by Jiro. Great, another one? Yeah, 17 thought the same thing, and 21 is elated. Now that Goku's here, this will actually make things a lot more fun. She can kill him, turn him into food, and even absorb his power. That would be great. As she's getting more and more angry, more of her true power is showing. The three of them join 17 and begin battling her. And this turns the tide of the battle really quickly. At first, their base form doesn't seem to be enough, but once they all transform, it actually ends up being just what they needed. They overpower 21 really easily, and are able to back her into a corner. But like I mentioned, her power is still increasing. Her true full strength hasn't been revealed yet. At some point, they push her a little too far. And Goku notes a really odd presence. It feels like she has Boo's energy. Yeah, Gohan can definitely feel it too. Oh no, that's gonna be an issue. If this is an android like Cell, but with the power of Boo as well, they have no idea of how they're gonna defeat her. She then goes completely berserk and transforms, and they see exactly what they were sensing. She has a new Majin form now. She looks exactly like Boo. Well, a female version of him, but still, she has the pink skin and all. But no, this is worse. She's even stronger than Boo. The great thing is, Goku and Gohan did get stronger since then. For Gohan, it wasn't a significant amount, but it's still there. And for Goku, he did only get a little bit stronger. And that's why it's a concern, because Boo was still a really tough opponent to defeat. Goku needed a spirit bomb for that. And it's not like that's something he could do here. They're gonna have to rely on something else. It's way too risky to perform that on Earth. The group begins fighting her again, and immediately they see that it's a lot tougher than before. She could regenerate. It seems like she has endless energy, and she even tries turning them to candy and food. Thankfully, Goku, Gohan, and Goten knew about that beforehand, so they warned 17. And everyone's trying to think of what to do. They might need help from other people. And of course, other fighters are going to end up sensing this. Amidst the battle, 21 is attacked by someone else who wasn't there before. The group looks on and they're not too surprised. They expected him to be here eventually. It's Vegeta. He sensed this, and once Goku and Gohan joined, he knew that it might actually be trouble. It took him a bit of time to get here, but he says he'll offer help, although he's completely confused. Another android's here, as well as 17? What the hell's going on? He thought Trunks helped reverse this. And Goku tells Vegeta that she might even be stronger than Boo. Maybe they'll need to fuse again. Wait, fusion? Vegeta doesn't want to do that again. They almost got stuck together permanently last time. Goku says he doesn't mean the Potara, they don't have any with them right now. Vegeta says it's not that desperate yet anyways. But then Gohan offers up something. Well, if he wants to fuse with someone, Gohan could fuse with him. He wouldn't mind. Since they don't have Potara, the only thing that they can do is the fusion dance. At least with that, they know it won't be permanent. Vegeta says he's definitely not going to do that. He doesn't want to do some silly dance or whatever. But if they prefer, he will buy them time for it. And Goku says there's still a problem. They could do the dance, but the only people that know it are him and Goten. Well, not actually. Gohan's actually seen Goten and Trunks fuse enough by now, since they do it to just screw around sometimes. And it doesn't seem too hard to learn. Goku even demonstrates it for a bit. And Gohan practices it beforehand just to make sure it's okay. They can't screw this up. Vegeta and 17 are currently holding off 21, but they can only do it for so long. Great. Vegeta can't believe he's in this position again, fighting some Majin and just being beaten up just so he could buy some time for everyone. But at least 17 is there with him, so Vegeta's not taking too bad of a beating. Goten offers to coach the two of them, just to make sure that Gohan gets it right. It's risky, but it should be okay. He watches on as the two of them perform the fusion dance. And as their fingers connect, Goten tells them they've got it. A bright flash of light appears. 21's distracted by it, and Vegeta and 17 hit her with an attack. It's weird for him to be fighting alongside 17, but weirder things have happened. They turn around and see what distracted her, and they see that bright flash of light. That clown actually did it. He pulled off the fusion dance with Gohan. As the bright light dissipates, a new fusion is revealed there. He doesn't look too different. I mean, it's Gohan and Goku, they already look kinda similar. The fusion goes up to 21. Damn, it's gonna be tough to come up with a name now. Like, what does he call himself? Goku? Gohan? You know what? Just use the last parts of each of his name. How about Kuhan? Yeah, he can't really come up with anything better, so he'll go with this. And it is what Dragon Ball Fusions uses, so hey, it's kind of an official name. Anyways, Kuhan begins fighting 21. Now this is gonna be interesting. Before, the fusion between Goku and Vegeta was really strong, but this is still strong in its own right. Instead of two rivals fusing, it's father and son fusing. They would definitely be really compatible. But the unique thing is it's a hybrid Saiyan with a pure Saiyan, and the two of them actually have different peaks in terms of power. In base alone, he's actually able to fight 21 somewhat well. And she actually does have data on this. They fused. Honestly, she should have expected that, but she'll turn them into candy. That'll at least help. Kuhan dodges. Yeah, part of him's been turned to candy before already. And it did turn out okay before, but he doesn't really want that to happen again. And Kuhan has a good mindset going into this. He knows he needs to finish this fight quickly. As for Gohan, it reminds him of Cell. He knows not to screw around. He's not going to make another mistake against another android. And as for Goku, he thinks back to Buu. It's weird too. He asked for a reincarnation of Buu, and he kinda got one. Well, he doesn't know that she's not actually Buu reincarnated. But the idea does cross his mind. But either way, both of them have realized how bad this situation is. So, Kuhan's gonna go full power right away. And something weird happens. He goes into Ultimate, but since Goku doesn't have it, it actually creates a hybrid of it. It's something weird. It's almost like he's in Super Saiyan 3 and in Ultimate at the same time. Like, his hair looks the same, but he has the white aura of Ultimate, and his eyes, they're blue with black pupils. He's surrounded by sparks of electricity. This is interesting. He's never used something like this before. She tries attacking the fusion, but nothing works. He dodges effortlessly, and at one point she actually is able to hit him by stretching her arm out. Oh, he should have expected that, but the attack didn't hurt at all. Alright, now that he's more used to this body, let's end it quickly. The fusion goes for the kill. With a flurry of punches and kicks, 21 is completely overwhelmed, thrown down into the water. Kuhan jumps up into the air, and then rockets down underneath the surface of the water. He drives 21 down to the bottom of the ocean, then lifting her up, launching a point-blank blast that launches her up to the surface again. He instant transmissions back up to her. Above his head, he cups his hands. Yellow and blue energy swirls together. He shouts, Masenko Kamehameha. The attack hits her dead on, and at the last second, she splits a piece of herself off. But Kuhan notices it right away, going up towards her and grabbing her midair again. But he notices something strange. Before, her eyes were black and red, and now they look normal. And also, her ki feels different too. The evilness within it, it's kinda gone. Not fully, but it's dissipated somewhat. She's in bad shape. She does regenerate, but she clearly seems tired out. And she seems confused too. Kuhan asks what's going on. And oddly enough, she asks for help. Help her? Why? She's an android trying to kill them. Well, 21 begins explaining. She's actually regained control of herself. At the brink of death, she snapped out of that berserk state she was in. Of course, there is influence from Jiro's programming, as well as the Majin cells within her. But another part of 21 is showing, the good side of her. She tries to explain. It's almost like there's 3 different people living inside her. There's a good version of her, an evil version of her, and then an evil Majin version of her. She tells Kuhan she doesn't expect him to believe her, but she asks again, please help control this. Vegeta yells out from the sideline. He says not to listen to her, it could just be a trick. And 17's unsure, but he also kind of agrees. Goten actually does believe it though, and he looks at 17 too. He turned good and 18 turned good. Maybe she is telling the truth. And Kuhan isn't too sure. Like I mentioned, he doesn't sense that evilness anymore. It's still there a little bit, but it seems to be controlled right now. And she definitely isn't berserk anymore. So at least there's that. Ultimately, no pun intended, it's up to Kuhan. And then 17 interjects again. Maybe she is telling the truth. He can't sense what's going on. But unless she's built like Cell, there might be a possibility. He thinks back to himself in 18. They overcame Jiro's programming and started to become their own people. And she explains too. She was actually a person before. Of course, she's been heavily modified, to the point where she almost is a bio-android. Almost like Cell, but not completely. Cell was made from scratch. She wasn't. And that's the thing. She could overcome this evil nature, if they could help her. Kuhan's unsure of what to do. The Goku side wants to spare her, but as for Gohan, he doesn't really know. Should he trust this? The fusion's conflicted, but he lets her go. They'll see if she's telling the truth. The great thing is, they can clearly beat her if they need to. He turns to Vegeta. Vegeta doesn't really know what to think either. At first he was angry about it, but he kinda does see where they're coming from now. It's a big risk, but it's a risk that they're willing to take. Kuhan defuses, with Goku and Gohan looking at each other. It might be worth a shot, and again, if it doesn't work out, they can defeat her.
After that battle, 17's already a bit ticked off, but thankfully his island is relatively okay. Most of the fighting took place over water, and he did a good job trying to get her far away from it. 21 tries to profusely apologize, but he can't really blame her. It is Jiro's fault after all, and he kinda was the same way before. She's similar to him anyways. It would be hypocritical if he got mad. and thankfully everyone else here helped too. No one's really too sure what to do now. But surprisingly, Goten actually gives a very good suggestion. Well, if she's just like Majin Buu, why don't they make her good like Majin Buu? I mean, it worked for that guy, however they did that. Okay, obviously Goten's not too sure on the specifics, but what he said is actually pretty important. Wait, Buu's good now? She actually didn't even really know about that. Because if what Goten said is true, that actually opens up some potential for her. Right now, her losing control of her power is really a big issue. And most of it is due to Buu's power within her. Some of her DNA is comprised of Buu's, and obviously a little bit of good Buu's in there, but when the DNA was finished being collected, this was about the time when Super Buu was made. So there's definitely a lot of evilness within there. But if Buu is still alive and is purely good now, that gets her thinking. Maybe there's a way to fix this. Think of it, if they remove the Buu parts of her DNA and replace it with what good Buu has, that might allow her to keep her power, but not lose control as often as she does. She gives an entire explanation about this, and no one really gets what she's saying. I mean, she's speaking to 17, Goku, Vegeta, and Goten. Gohan at least kinda understands where she's coming from though, but even he is a bit confused by what she's trying to say. She goes into a whole scientific spiel and no one really gets what's going on. But it sounds like it might be a solution at least. Vegeta says they have no idea what to do with that. Instead, she could probably just consult Bulma. Oh yeah, that is true. Maybe Bulma could help. It wouldn't be the first time she tried to fix a Red Ribbon android. Although, 21 realized that this could be very dangerous, and maybe even kill her. This isn't something she could do on her own. And even with Bulma's help, there still is a lot of risk there. So eventually she meets Bulma, and Bulma's pretty surprised to see that there's another android. And this one seems really advanced. Like, androids 17 and 18 were already pretty advanced, and obviously Cell was too. But it's almost like 21 takes elements from both of them. She has all the best parts of the cyborgs and of the bio-android. Besides the fact that there's a risk of her going berserk and blowing everything up around her, Bulma actually gets along pretty well with 21 when she first meets her. And this experiment sounds like it could be pretty good. And there really is no other way around this. The plan is to remove all data collected on Buu, including any DNA. Obviously, I know this isn't how DNA works, but this is Dragon Ball. There's really weird circumstances in terms of how it functions. I know, it's strange, but it'll make sense later on. Some of 21's DNA and data is comprised of Frieza's, but that's fine because it's outweighed by so many others. The rest of her DNA is mostly from good fighters. People like Piccolo, the Saiyans, and the humans. There's not even any of Cell in there because collecting data from Cell would be redundant for her. They just need to get rid of Buu's DNA and replace it with the good Buu. She might become a little bit weaker, assuming that this even works, but it's worth the trade-off. And even though there is a lot of risk going along with this, and she could probably even die from trying to do this, they want to go through with the experiment. But first, they actually need to consult Buu. So, they go to Mr. Satan. He's completely confused by all of this, but yeah, he's willing to help. He goes to Buu and checks. Oh yeah, Buu doesn't even mind. He rips off a blob of himself and grows it right back, handing the chunk of his flesh to Bulma. Gross, but okay, they got what they needed. So now with this, they could actually work on fixing 21. It takes a lot of time and effort, but eventually the experiment is complete. And surprisingly, 21 actually seems okay.
Bulma says it was almost completely successful. Almost. Well, it was pretty impossible to remove all of Buu's evil DNA, and there still is the risk of her transforming and losing control. But thankfully, most of that has been replaced with good Buu's data and DNA. And it was pretty weird for her to work with that because he is an artificial being made with magical powers, so his DNA has some weird magical and regenerative properties. But this could actually be pretty helpful. I mean, maybe it'll just repair her DNA on its own, and good Buu's influence will eventually take over. Hopefully not completely. Bulma explains it as all of Buu's old data and DNA being some sort of poison to her, while hopefully what they gathered from good Buu can actually be some sort of anti-venom. In the simplest terms possible. Obviously that's not what it is, but everyone gets the gist of it. And now, 21 actually does have control over her power. She is a little bit weaker than before, but now she could fight without worrying about any evil impulses taking control, or without any of Jiro's programming influencing her. But there is still that little bit of risk that she could go berserk. Think of any other fighter and how outbursts of rage can affect them. Gohan, Vegeta, even Goku. Of course, it's very different for everyone else, and it's gonna affect different fighters in different ways. But who knows, if she encounters any great stresses in the future, it could unearth evil powers that she had before, and maybe even something much worse. But she's gonna try and keep that in check. She is gonna be training after all. This actually surprises everyone. She has a lot of motivation to fight. Of course, she does have a desire to grow stronger, but this is also mainly for research. She ends up training with a lot of the other fighters, as well as even studying them as they fight. Saiyans really do interest her, especially the ones that she fought. They were pretty strong after all. And she is comprised partially from them. The more she studies them, the more she could probably help them and herself grow. And there's an interesting side effect to this. By this point, Gohan's definitely going to want to dedicate more time to his studies and his family life. He really still does want to become a scholar, but 21 proposes an idea for him. Well, if he's going to be a scholar, he could pretty much research whatever he wants. She'd even help him. Why not research Ki and how it affects humans? They can create some breakthrough discoveries by studying this. This actually does happen in Dragon Ball Online, where Gohan eventually studies Ki and even writes about it. So I'm not pulling this concept out of thin air, this is something that he probably even would do here. This could help him a lot. Not only will it let him fight still, but it could help him work more towards being a scholar. Maybe he could even get Videl joining in too. Of course, the rest of the group is obviously involved. Goku, Piccolo, Vegeta, pretty much everyone continues life normally, just with 21 there now. And obviously she isn't training the entire time. I mean, she still does want to live as a human. She eventually ends up working at Capsule Corp actually. Bulma takes a liking to her and she is pretty smart. She's a great addition to the team in there. And it's great because not only is she helping out there, but she's able to do her own work there as well. And now let's go into a brief time skip, entering Battle of Gods. This is going to start relatively normally, but it's going to get very different as it continues onwards. At first, there's only two real big differences. At Bulma's party, obviously 21's going to be there, but also 17 does show up too. After finally meeting Goku and even seeing Vegeta and Gohan again, and with 21's involvement, people do drop by and check in on 17 more and more, which eventually even does lead to him reconnecting with 18 and even Krillin. Not a big deal now, but going forward, keep this in mind. Right away, 21's involvement is affecting Gohan and 17, and it'll affect more going forward. Beerus eventually awakens, heading to Earth looking for the Super Saiyan God. Much of his arrival is the same at first. 21 would be intrigued by seeing Beerus there, but Vegeta seems freaked out by him, so she doesn't really want to interact with Beerus much at first. And then we get to the pudding incident. Boo eats all of the pudding, and Beerus begins getting visibly upset. And right before he gets enraged, 21 interrupts. She looks around and then picks up a rock off the ground. Beerus has no clue what's going on. He's already pissed off enough and he doesn't have time for jokes. But she holds the rock in one hand and points a finger at it, launching a beam that then turns it into pudding. Beerus' jaw drops to the floor. She can make food from any object? This calms him down really quick. He gets to have his pudding, and also he has a newfound interest in 21. He doesn't even know her strength, but he's interested in the fact that she can turn anything into food. He asks her if she can make more, and she is a bit terrified, so she doesn't object. Vegeta watches on in complete disbelief as 21 becomes Beerus' personal chef for the next few minutes. Beerus ends up finding out that she's an android, even having some DNA from Frieza, the Saiyans, and Boo, as well as a few others. So that means she's part Saiyan. Does she have any knowledge of the Super Saiyan God? Well, actually no, she has looked extensively at Saiyan DNA, especially S cells, and trying to figure out what they do to that DNA. She doesn't have any idea of what a Super Saiyan God is. Of course she knows about Super Saiyan and the other forms beyond it. But if the Super Saiyan God thing does exist and it's not a person, well, she could probably find a transformation through experiments. Although she has no idea of how she'd go about that. She feels like she would have discovered that by now. There must be some ingredient missing. And Beerus actually does have an idea of what she could use. God Ki. They've never encountered any of that before. It's why they can't sense him. He has a proposition. If he can give her a little bit of God Ki just to study with, could she do some science nonsense and figure out how to make a Super Saiyan God real? Well, she has no promises, but she could at least try. And the great thing is Beerus isn't going to rush her here. He's already happy enough with all the food that she created. As long as there's a shot at this, he'll let her do whatever. He creates a sphere of Ki in his hands, telling her to be very careful with it. She has no idea of what it is and she can't even sense what's going on with it. It's pure godly energy. It's best to go to the lab right away. She flies over there, with Beerus and Whis following, as well as everyone else. Goku even teleports back to the party, surprised to see that half the people ditched. He has no clue what's going on or where Beerus took them to, but he teleports over and ends up at the Capsule Corp lab, figuring out what's going on. He finds it's pretty strange. She's gonna figure out how to access a new form through science? Could she always have done this? Well, yeah, but she hasn't really been looking too much into it. Mostly it's just how to evolve Super Saiyan, and it has helped a bit. She's been working with Goku to try and fix Super Saiyan 3. But this will be completely different. She could run some tests, utilizing normal Ki, godly Ki, Saiyan DNA, all this different stuff that she has access to. And maybe she could figure out something, a way to affect Saiyan cells that makes them transform into some sort of Super Saiyan God. It takes a bit of time, but she's working quick and no one else knows what's going on, but they watch too. Beerus does get a bit bored, but just to make sure he doesn't get angry again, 21 creates some more food. And she's sure this will work. And eventually, she gets somewhere. Combining the God Ki with Saiyan cells in a certain way actually makes them react. And when they react, she can't even sense what's going on with them, but they're definitely a lot more resilient and stronger than before. Okay, now she needs to take this and apply it on a much larger scale, and maybe that could cause a transformation to happen. But she'll need some more godly Ki, and she also needs a subject to test this out on. The way she's describing it makes it sound risky. I mean, it is an experiment after all. But Gohan volunteers. For the sake of the research, yeah, this actually sounds fun. And she's actually the perfect person to help with this. She not only has scientific knowledge on her side, but also magical abilities that could help her, thanks to her DNA from Boo. Beerus says if she's sure this will work, he'll lend some more godly Ki. The amount he's lending is a pretty insignificant amount after all, not even a fraction of his power. He places a hand on Gohan's back, and he's pretty terrified immediately. And he channels some godly Ki into him. It makes Gohan feel strange and he can't really contain it. The power begins leaking out right away. But utilizing magic, 21 tries to contain it. And she tries to create that same reaction that she just had in her experiment. And something really strange happens. Gohan's eyes widen. He can sense the Ki now. and as his eyes widen, they turn red. His hair follows suit. The entire lab begins shaking, but then everything becomes calm. 21 is elated, as is Beerus. It actually worked. Through this experiment, Gohan became a Super Saiyan God. And immediately, Beerus wants a fight. Oh yeah, Gohan forgot about that part before he volunteered, but he's still up for it. So he and Beerus head outside, and a battle commences between the two. But 21 realizes she doesn't just have to stop here, she could use this for everyone. And she looks over at Goku and Vegeta. And they have no idea what she's planning, but then she lifts a hand up. She still has some of that godly ki left from Beerus. Beerus is clashing with Gohan, amazed at how strong he's become with this new form. And he's really enjoying this fight. It's going pretty well, but Beerus senses a huge burst of energy from the ground below. There's no possible way. Using that remainder of ki, 21 performed the same experiment on Goku and Vegeta. They ascend upwards, now both having red hair just like Gohan. 3 Super Saiyan gods? This is way better than what Beerus already asked for. He just wanted to come here and find a Super Saiyan god. Now he has 3, and a person that can make him infinite food. This might be the greatest day of his life. And with 3 people fighting him at once, Beerus is allowed to have way more fun. He can show off a lot more power than he did before. The battle between him and Gohan was already pretty intense. But now Beerus is even less suppressed than before. And there's 2 extra people in the fight, both of whom are very strong in their own right. 3 Super Saiyan gods and a god of destruction. There is no need to explain how crazy that battle already is. 21 watches on too and begins thinking, she could probably use this for herself too. I mean, it would be a little bit tougher. It's one thing working with people that have so much Saiyan DNA in them, but it worked for Gohan, and Gohan's not a pure Saiyan. So if it works for him, it should be able to work for her too. Although it's going to take a lot more time to actually test this out, seeing how it interacts with her. Who knows how God Ki could affect the other parts of herself? Or maybe if they'd even block this from happening. Or worse, what if there's adverse effects from this? She wants to try right now, but it would be too risky to do that without studying it first. But hey, at least she can enjoy the fireworks, as well as everyone else. They watch on as the 3 Super Saiyan gods fight Beerus. Goku and Gohan are enjoying themselves a lot. It's always fun fighting together, and as for Vegeta, he's taking this very seriously. They are fighting Beerus after all, and he doesn't really want to screw around with him anymore. And even with all 3 of them together, it still seems like it's not enough for Beerus, although he has shown off a lot more power than he did originally. If he was only fighting one of them, it would have been an insignificant amount of his power that he was showing. But he admits, he did have to try a little bit. Very little though. And even though it doesn't really seem like a big compliment, he tells them it is a really big compliment. And he sees potential in all of them. This could be really good. He wants all 3 of these guys to come into his planet, as well as that android. She can unlock the same power too. And Beerus wants to learn that food magic that she has. Whis is a bit offended. He could just do it for Beerus too, but whatever makes him happy. Gohan appreciates the offer, but he needs to stay here on Earth. Although he promises Beerus, he's going to continue his training and become stronger than ever before. Thankfully, as a hybrid, he naturally will grow faster than anyone else. Beerus is a bit disappointed that he turned down the offer, but he'll trust the judgment. As for Goku, Vegeta, and 21, they all end up going. 21 is still a bit concerned about how this will affect her, but this will be nice for some training. And most importantly, she could study Beerus and Whis more. Who knows, maybe she can incorporate this data within herself. Imagine that, studying the power of a god of destruction and harnessing it for herself. Actually, wait, that might still be a bad idea for her. She still isn't sure about that evil side of her. Until she's completely sure it's gone, yeah, it might not be a great idea to actually do that. But still, going to Beerus' planet will be great regardless. After last time, everyone's trying to figure out new methods of training right now. Goku and Vegeta are on Beerus' planet. Thankfully, neither Goku or Vegeta are actually behind this time. They both got Super Saiyan God at exactly the same moment and have been training the same ever since. And as for 21, she's trying to figure out what she could do. Of course, her physiology is very different from everyone else's, so she needs to try and figure out a way to combine God Ki with her current self, seeing if there's any way to actually master this, maybe even make a form out of it. And she gets an idea too. If she taps into that Majin form again, she could possibly be able to use those powers, although it might be tough. The last time she did use it, she went berserk, but maybe there's a way to use it while being good. This would not only buff her significantly in terms of strength, but also give her the abilities that Majin Buu has. And on top of that, the magical properties of this might even help her control the ki more. She has no experience controlling God Ki herself, but she has studied it enough, and watching Goku and Vegeta fight gave her a bunch of data. Not to mention, she has become Beerus' favorite student, mainly because she could just make him food whenever he wants. She does get bored of it from time to time, but Beerus is trying to learn this ability for himself so he doesn't have to keep asking her to turn rocks into food. Great. She could be doing more than this. She didn't know she was coming here to just be his personal chef. But Beerus says if he picks up this ability, he'll teach her some interesting ones in response. If he's able to pick up this power, he could show her how to do Hakais and such, harnessing the energy of a god of destruction, which is exactly what she wants. Honestly, that sounds like a fair trade to her. But all the while, she is trying to master this God Ki, trying to use it for herself in whatever way possible. At some point, she is actually able to try and tap into this. Using her Majin form, she actually doesn't go berserk this time. She seems normal. I mean, she knew she could do this all along, and she could have done it whenever she wanted. She was just terrified that she would go berserk again. But she seems like she's perfectly content now. She has all the control she needs, and she's not in a weird state of mind either. And she's done a bunch of research, using her data, her research, her magical abilities, and her natural fighting prowess. She's able to eventually figure out a way to combine God Ki into this. This power is amazing. Even Goku and Vegeta are surprised. This might even be above where they are in terms of strength right now. Of course, her source of power is very different. Naturally, she does have the abilities of Saiyans as well. So she has a huge amount of potential, not just in terms of Zenkais and whatever, but just latent potential in general. She can grow so much stronger with such little training. And that's not even considering the fact that she has some of Frieza's DNA and some of Boo's DNA. Combine that with the fact that she can regenerate and use Majin powers in this form, and yeah, she's pretty busted right now. Well, Goku's at least glad that she's on their side now, but still, they can't help but shake the concern. Even though it's not as bad as before, they still are a bit concerned about her losing control, going berserk once more. She even said this herself. She doesn't know if or when it'll happen. It could come out of nowhere. It could not happen at all. But that goes mostly to the back of their minds. Right now, they need to just focus on their training and try and get stronger in whatever way possible. Beerus is very pleased at the moment. He has 3 strong people training on his planet, growing at an incredibly rapid rate, and he's learning how to create food out of anything. And not just any food either, Earth food. Earth food which he's trying more and more of every day. This is the best idea he's ever had. Back on Earth, other people are continuing their training too, specifically Gohan. After what 21 has shown him and told him, he's a lot more dedicated, and as I mentioned before, even Videl gets involved a bit too, although she can't really keep up with Gohan's current strength, but hey, it's still nice to have her fighting more. The Great Saiyaman duo can even come back from time to time. But more importantly, Gohan's trying to improve his own strength, mainly with his ultimate form. Ultimate's already great as it draws out all of his latent potential, so whenever he tries something, all that potential gets channeled right into Ultimate. And now with access to God Ki, that changes Ultimate a bit. He doesn't need to use Super Saiyan God anymore. Just by going into Ultimate, he's able to draw out the potential of that form, but with way more control on top of that. Although, something weird happens with Ultimate. It begins changing a bit. With the inclusion of Super Saiyan God, and the fact that he has access to God Ki right now, Ultimate just evolves on its own. He's not sure why or how, but combining the properties of God Ki with the properties of Ultimate makes this brand new thing. It's not incredibly different. It's Ultimate like normal, and it has a few visual differences, mainly in how his eyes and aura look. But otherwise, it functions the exact same. It's basically Ultimate with God Ki instilled within it. Gohan doesn't need any crazy names for it either. So just like I did in What If Bardock was sent to the future, I'm just gonna call this Ultimate God, a form that combines the properties of God Ki within Ultimate. And as you could probably guess, yeah, this is gonna really change Resurrection F. Quick side note, whenever I do get the opportunity to make this arc interesting, I try my best. I mean, in certain other videos like What If Cooler Turned Good, yeah, it's pretty easy to make this arc interesting. But the thing is, Resurrection F inherently is kind of boring, and it's very easy to avoid. So, as much as I hate to skip over it pretty much every time I make a What If, that's gonna have to happen again here. Frieza ends up coming to Earth, but with Gohan and even some other people so much stronger than before, as well as the fact that the androids are actually more involved this time around, Frieza's army is defeated incredibly easily, and once Frieza actually shows up, Gohan decides to take him on. Ultimate is more than enough to take on his final form, and Frieza's surprised. Where's that other monkey? He needs to fight Goku, kill Vegeta, and that one that killed him with the sword beforehand. He remembers this one. This is that brat Namek. That one that tried to attack him in an outburst of anger but accomplished nothing. Why is he so strong now? And he's not even using Super Saiyan. It doesn't look like he's using any form in general. It pisses off Frieza to no end. Alright, he did want to slaughter Goku and Vegeta, but this is fine too. He wants to make this quick. He wants to get this fight over with, and he wants to deal with this worm. He begins transforming and shows off his golden form, just as Gohan expected. Frieza has gotten stronger as well. But he isn't too phased, and Frieza's surprised. He thought that they would be kneeling in fear. Maybe he's just acting cocky. The Saiyans naturally like to act confident and all, so maybe it's just that. Yeah, he can't actually be stronger than Golden Frieza, right? Well, Frieza attacks him. Gohan immediately dodges and then powers up. His eyes slightly change color and his aura changes too, and Frieza's concerned. He can't sense him anymore. That ki, it's gone. Gohan chuckles. Oh yeah, even though Frieza is stronger, he's not on this level yet. And with Gohan knowing how dangerous Frieza is, he's gonna make sure he doesn't survive and get the ability to get to this level. And the greatest part is, this will be a great chance to test out Ultimate God. He powers up to his fullest, and he launches an attack that kinda overdoes it. You know, it was kinda underwhelming. I mean, he didn't really want to draw the fight out and risk that. But he just one-shotted Frieza after he got this brand new form. Gohan expected a little bit more and wanted to have more fun with us, but hey, Earth is safe and that's really all that matters. And it does let him gauge his power a bit. He is, well, stronger than he thought, in the simplest terms.
With Resurrection F over and pretty easily avoided, next we could head on to the Universe 6 tournament. And the team here should be pretty obvious. Goku, Vegeta, and 21 are a shoo-in. Piccolo's probably going to be there too, and with Gohan actually training more and more motivated, yeah, he's going to be joining as well. It's essentially the team they originally wanted, and instead of Monaka, they got 21. They don't need Monaka, 21 is motivation enough, and honestly, even without her, Goku and Vegeta are very motivated on their own. They do use the Room of Spirit and Time beforehand, which kind of interests 21, but she doesn't really want to use it and would rather spend time relaxing. She doesn't need to push herself training for 3 years. Rather, she's going to try to use her analytical skills here. If there really are a bunch of strong fighters from Universe 6, she could probably pick up a bunch of interesting data. And she kind of does so. As the fights begin, she immediately starts collecting data. Of course, the first few aren't too interesting. The fight against Batamo is pretty standard, and once Frost comes up, well, clearly the data and DNA from him isn't really too interesting for 21. I mean, he's essentially just like Frieza. Actually, a weaker version of him. The one that Gohan just fought, Frieza himself, yeah, he was way more interesting, if anything. And it is revealed that he's evil too, so that pretty much confirms her theory. This guy is literally just Universe 6's version of Frieza. Kinda lame. There's not too much useful data from Vegeta either, and the fights like that go pretty easily too. Right now, Universe 6 has lost 3 fighters, and for the sake of brevity and simplicity, let's say the order's the same, and right now Vegeta's going up against Kappa, and that fight's gonna go pretty much the same too. Wow, 21's pretty surprised. For a completely separate universe, they seem really similar to Universe 7. I mean, of course, there are some small differences. Frost obviously isn't the exact same as Frieza, and as for Kappa, Universe 6 Saiyans are a little bit different, and they seem to actually grow pretty quickly, on top of the fact that they're naturally good and don't come with tails. But still, she was hyped up at the fact that there would be a multiverse to explore, and really all that she sees now is another copy of Universe 7. But hey, maybe in the future they'll see other universes with vastly different species, technologies, everything like that. That'll really interest her, and that'll be really great for her to study because it's more data and DNA that she can collect for herself, empowering herself even further and gathering great new skills. But actually, there is one more person in Universe 6, someone that she didn't even consider at first, at least not until he actually came up to fight, and that's Hit. This guy doesn't look like anyone she's ever seen in Universe 7 before, and he seems to act weirdly. His abilities, she can't tell what they are at first, but as she studies closer and closer, and everyone begins discussing, she figures it out. Time abilities, the ability to warp time, stop it, skip it, whatever. That's his ability? That's insane! I mean, of course, manipulating time isn't anything new. She has been working with Bulma after all. A future version of her literally made a time machine, which is probably the craziest way to manipulate time. But this is different. This isn't time travel. This is time used for combat. Sure, it's similar in a way, but very different. The utilization of it, it's fascinating to her. Goku notices her analyzing it too, and she's able to give him some tips. Granted, he's already going into this fight pretty confident anyways, and like I've mentioned a few times so far, Goku's already stronger than he was normally. Vegeta does put up a better fight against Hit, although he does end up losing, which means Goku's up next, and as you'd probably expect, it goes pretty similar to normal. Gohan and 21 are pretty bummed out because they didn't really get to fight, but still, they learned a lot from this. Gohan is pretty interested in the other universes too. It would be great for his research. I mean, imagine how great this would be as a scholar, discussing the existence of multiverses. I mean, of course, he can't just flat out say it and tell people. He doesn't want to freak people out, but he can slowly research it and slowly begin telling people about it, becoming a great and famous scholar. He does have a head start on everyone after all. He's really the only academic that knows about this and will publicly talk about it. This will be great for him. So even though he didn't get to fight, this was a great experience. But for 21, it's completely different. Of course, she didn't have a similar experience to Gohan, but she also got some data on Hit. And more importantly, she was actually able to gather some DNA from him. Dr. Gero had his own drones, so she was able to make her own pretty easily as well. Much smaller, much more discreet, and much quicker. Luckily, while everyone was resting, she was able to get the drones to collect some data from everyone. And most of the data from Universe 6 is pretty useless, especially someone like Frost who's evil, which she doesn't want in her. But in terms of DNA that she does want to assimilate with herself, it could be interesting. Oh yeah, he's definitely a bad guy, but he's not necessarily evil. It's not like Frieza where he's just going around killing people for fun and taking over planets. The bad things that he does do have a purpose, not that she agrees with them, but still. The point is she doesn't see any risk using Hit's DNA because of that. Combine that with the data she collected on him, maybe she could harness his power for herself. Messing with time, time skipping, all that stuff that Hit was doing. She analyzed his fighting style, picked up on the abilities and techniques that he was using. And also, there's the fact that he has pure progress. This can enhance her potential even more. The more she researches this, the better. She's excited to get back to Universe 7. And yeah, she's glad they won, and a little bummed out that she didn't get to fight, but hey, this experience went way better than she thought. After seeing the other fighters from Universe 6, she was kind of bored, but now she's hyped up. She could probably use this for herself. And Beerus knows that she's probably up to something with Hit's DNA.
It becomes pretty obvious, and he knows her pretty well by now and knows that this is something she would do. But since she did teach him how to make food from nothing, and the fact that Beerus actually has taken a liking to her as a student, he's gonna let it slide. Yeah, as a god of destruction, he should probably do something about his student messing with time, but hey, not his concern. She's not using it for nefarious purposes, and he doesn't even know if that's what she's up to now. And on top of that, if she does learn how to do this, it'll make her a much more interesting rival. He'll be lenient, just because he likes her, Goku, and Vegeta. But while Beerus is going to be lenient about this, there are other gods that look down upon this. Well, that's an understatement. They don't just look down upon it, they find it disgusting, infuriating. And you could probably tell who I'm talking about by now. Zamasu. Yeah, Zamasu's been watching all of this, and he's been plotting something. Maybe it's time for the Zero Mortals plan. Mortals have been messing with time, and not just that, they're making a mockery of godly powers. And he does consider, he could steal a mortal's body, but this time, he has a different choice. Yeah, he could probably take Goku's body, but also, what about 21? He honestly views her as an abomination, as well as the other androids that exist on Earth, but mainly her. She's made from artificial life forms. Now, he doesn't know too much in depth about all these things, but the fact that she's a bio-android made from DNA from other mortals disgusts him. These mortals are trying to create life. They're trying to act like they're Kais themselves, imitating the power of gods, but they're not as sublime as someone like Zamasu. They can't imitate the power of Kais. No, he's not gonna stand for that. Besides the fact that they're messing with time, they're doing this too. And to make things even worse, these abominations, these freaks of nature, they're using godly ki. It's like they're mocking him, spitting in his face and rubbing it in. But he hatches a plan to eradicate all mortals, the Zero Mortals plan. And he begins thinking, whose body should he steal? I mean, it would be fitting for a mortal to actually do this. Using a mortal's power to actually kill them, harnessing it for himself and using it in an interesting way. And his mind does consider the possibility of stealing Goku's body. But no, he might have a better candidate right in front of him. So, will he actually steal 21's body, or will he go with Goku Black? After much deliberation, Zamasu finally decides whose body he's gonna steal. It was between Goku and 21, but now he's made his decision, and he feels that this one is a fitting one. On Earth, a familiar face shows up in the past. It's Trunks. At first, he seems relieved to see where he is, and then he sees a face that he didn't want to see. That's the person that was attacking his timeline. And immediately, Trunks powers up, charging at this person. It's Android 21. Of course, he doesn't know her otherwise. And obviously this means that Zamasu stole her body, but everyone else is left just as confused. He thinks that this is the 21 that was attacking his timeline, but it isn't. 21's able to fend him off, trying to calm him down at the request of Goku and the others. She's able to paralyze him in place, using some of Hit's abilities. It's the only way to restrain him right now. She doesn't want to attack or fight back. He sees Goku and Vegeta fly up alongside her, telling Trunks it's okay, that she's a good guy. Trunks eventually calms down, and they explain who she is, and he explains what's happened. He saw her attacking his timeline, and they see exactly what's happening. The thing is here, Zamasu has a perfect disguise. They don't actually suspect that this is anyone else. Unlike Goku Black, it's not suspicious for an android to be attacking Trunks, especially Android 21. They were hoping she just didn't exist in his timeline, but it seems she actually did appear. Little do they know, she actually doesn't exist in his timeline. And that's just someone using her body and power. Great, more androids to deal with. He didn't even realize she was an android. It's strange too, because apparently every android in this timeline is already good, at least the ones still alive. They haven't heard from 17, but 18's good. She married Krillin. And 21, even though Trunks didn't know her before, they were able to fix her. Wait, fix her? Yeah, they tell the whole story about what happened with her. And as this exposition occurs, someone else shows up. It's Android 21 from the future, aka 21 Black, which Trunks doesn't call her that because he doesn't know any other 21. He actually didn't even have a name for her, not knowing who or what she was. But for simplicity, we're gonna call her 21 Black. And just like I mentioned before, they assume that this is actually just future 21. And 21 fights this future version of herself. But something's weird. Yeah, it does look exactly like her, and it wouldn't be odd for her to show up in the future. But something about the energy emanating off her. What happened? She seems strong. Like, too strong to just be the normal 21. And she has a weird presence within her. And it seems she also has a lot of the abilities of this 21. Things she wouldn't have if she just awakened normally. Even though she is strong, she's not strong enough. And they're able to fend off 21 Black. Still, they're suspicious. Judging by her energy, 21 assumed that the future version of herself absorbed a Kai or something. I mean, she had an earring and a time ring too. No one has a clue of what else would have happened. But this is great for present Zamasu. No one actually notices him or suspects him. Of course, his plan hasn't occurred yet. And because no one even suspects him at all, his plan's not going to be accelerated yet, but that doesn't mean we're just going to forget about him, no. It's just important to note this because it'll come into play later. Eventually, the group does go to the future in order to encounter this threat. While present Zamasu might be laying low, the future one definitely isn't. He's still very involved in this plan, and is still immortal like normal. The two Zamasus are working together and are actually pretty successful so far. They just need to defeat Trunks and then go on with their plan beyond that. Going to the past was actually a great idea for 21 Black. She seemed to grow stronger from this encounter, getting more and more used to this different body. When Zamasu initially swapped bodies, it was tough. Just like with Goku Black, you can't immediately access all the power that's in there, but 21 Black is getting more and more experience thanks to this fight. Maybe she could try and summon more power this time, especially now. The two Zamasus see. Not only does Trunks return, but he brings 3 people with him, Goku, Vegeta, and 21. This is perfect. It's a great opportunity for 21 Black to show off her new power, or the power that she unlocked, the one that she had before. She thanks everyone from the past and Trunks. She always knew that 21 had this power, but never knew how to access it. A way to tap into godly ki to make her stronger. Consider this her version of Super Saiyan Rose, a godly form different from the original person. She powers up, and much to the surprise of everyone, she looked very different than the normal 21. The group starts fighting, and this power actually seems to be a little bit too much. Even for 21 it's too much, which is surprising. This is herself, why is she so much stronger? Another person then appears, a Supreme Kai who they've never seen before. It's Zamasu. He begins explaining. They're fighting an actual god. That's why she's able to use the power so much more effectively. What does Zamasu mean though, and who is he? Isn't that just normal Android 21? Oh, of course. These mortals are too stupid to realize. That actually isn't 21. The two Zamasus begin explaining, telling them everything that's happened, as well as explaining the Zero Mortals plan and why they're here. So they were completely wrong about all of this. But that Zamasu guy, does that mean he exists in the past too? He's still there, unchecked, and they're doing nothing about him. But before they go back, they need to solve everything here and figure out a weakness for them. Although, it's gonna be a bit tough. With how strong 21 Black is, and the fact that Zamasu is immortal, yeah, this isn't really going as planned. But maybe there is a way around this. It seems 21 Black has an issue accessing all of 21's powers. I mean, she only just now got access to that god form that she has, and it's not even the exact same thing. So maybe 21 is at an advantage, because of the recent power that she acquired from him, although even she isn't as practiced with it yet. But if she isn't that experienced with it yet, 21 Black definitely won't have access to it either. And this was actually one of the reasons Zamasu decided to steal her body. Not only was she man-made by people trying to play gods, and also the fact that she was using god ki, but he saw how mortals manipulated time. Not just Trunks, no, Hit as well. Zamasu didn't know that 21 was actually using Hit's powers for herself, and this only enrages the two Zamasus even more. More mortals playing with time, and in a much different way than before. This is a grave sin, and they must be punished for it. 21 Black attacks, but suddenly she stops midair. She's moving in slow motion, and she's caught in time lag. This is an opportunity for everyone to attack. All at once, they begin using their most powerful moves against her, and it actually does end up kind of working. Although there's one big issue here that wouldn't have happened with Goku Black. 21 can regenerate, and 21 Black could do the exact same thing. Of course, Zamasu is there to heal her, but she doesn't even need that. She's able to break free of the time lag just in the nick of time. Any longer, they might have been able to completely destroy her, but now she knows their tricks. Or at least one of them. 21 could try and use time skip, and the other's trying to figure out a plan as well. The great thing is, there's no need for Senzu beans here or going back to the past. 21 can actually heal them thanks to her abilities from Buu. And Vegeta gets an idea. Just like they did on Namek, maybe they can try and exploit Zenkais somehow. Of course, they're not going to be as potent, but if they continue fighting and get beat up, they could just get healed again by 21. And she thinks this plan might actually work, and she has a great idea. In her Majin form, she takes 3 separate pieces off of herself, attaching them to the back of everyone else. This way, whenever they're injured, she could just heal them remotely. Of course, it's a lot slower this way. It would be better if they just came directly to her, but still, this could work. This means they can continuously be healed during battle, as long as they don't take too much damage. The two Zamasus don't know that she did this, but they see her heal them one time, realizing that they need to separate her from those 3 others. That's definitely going to be an issue. Zamasu knows how potent that is, using it himself and all. Of course, he doesn't really need it for 21 Black, but seeing that they have the same exact thing, that's going to be an issue. But then 21 Black realizes, she completely forgot. Wait, if she's part Majin, not only is that magic available to her, but she can absorb people, take their power. And she does consider doing that with the mortals. But first, she has someone better that she can test it on. Someone that'll make this fight a lot easier. She powers up and suddenly turns towards Zamasu. Zamasu's wondering what's happening. Does she want to fuse or something? No, she has a better idea. Her arm stretches out and her hand expands out. The group realizes what's happening. She's trying to absorb Zamasu. She's gonna get that immortality for herself. But right before she's able to grab Zamasu, he suddenly shrinks down, hit by a beam from somewhere else. 21 Black turns around, seeing 21 has her finger out. She launched a candy beam that just turned Zamasu into a piece of candy. She's been waiting to do this, and now with both of them distracted, this is the perfect opportunity. And as much as she wants to eat the candy, she knows that's a bad idea. But thankfully as a skilled magician, she's able to seal that piece of candy away, meaning Zamasu is no longer an issue. 21 Black is their main opponent now, and she's even angrier than before. Her anger also makes her grow in terms of strength. She doesn't care. If she doesn't have immortality, it doesn't matter. She could still win this, just with her raw strength alone. She begins teleporting around, attacking everyone as quick as possible, trying to trip them up. Goku laughs. She's not the only one that could do that trick. He begins teleporting around rapidly with instant transmission, so quick that he creates after images. This distracts 21 Black for a bit. None of her attacks are hitting Goku, but none of his are hitting her as well. Okay, this might actually work. With Goku distracting her, 21, Vegeta, and Trunks try and work up a plan. It's gonna be tough since 21 Black already knows about this, but she needs to use Hit's abilities again. That same thing that she used on Trunks before and just used on 21 Black. She could use it again, but she needs a lot of focus, so everyone else is gonna have to focus on offense while she focuses on using this technique. With how beaten up everyone's gotten in this battle, they have healed a bit and have gotten a bit stronger. Of course, like I said, it's not as much as they'd like, but it might be enough to make a difference. Plus, if she could freeze 21 Black, they have a few ideas in mind of how they could eviscerate her completely. They just need one strong combined attack. The plan is set in motion, and as Goku continues teleporting around, 21 joins in too, teleporting as well. She then splits up into 3 fighters, jumping towards 21 Black, and just as the 3 are about to land a hit, they all merge together back into 121, landing a powerful attack. Damn, 21 Black was trying not to get attacked by her, because now she's caught on a time lag again. But something's different this time. 21 doesn't even try to attack her. She's just focused on holding the time lag in place. Crap, 21 Black is trapped. There's no way out of this. But there's no way they could win, right? I mean, if they're just relying on the power of the 3 Saiyans, that's not going to be enough. Even if they charge up combined attack, it's not going to work. She could just regenerate, even in the time lag, although it's going to be slower. 21 Black senses something behind her, as 21 jumps up in the air, still holding the time lag but also getting out of the way. A father-son final flash hits 21 Black from behind, and it's working, dealing damage and slowly erasing her, but it didn't do much, and she begins regenerating. Vegeta and Trunks begin charging again, but then Goku jumps in front of them. He apologizes to Beerus. He has to steal his technique for now, even though it's not the exact same thing. He channels all of his energy into his hand, and shouts Hakai. Of course, it's not a real Hakai, but thankfully he doesn't need a real one right now. He just needs all of his energy focused into one attack like this. And it's slow, but it's good because 21 Black isn't immortal, and she's frozen right now. The area is illuminated purple as slowly, 21 Black begins to get destroyed by this attack. It's not just part of her either. They've fought Majins before, so they know how to deal with this. Also, Cell too, since that kinda counts. They know with a regenerating opponent like this, they need to erase every single bit. And as Goku continues launching his Hakai, 21 grants him a burst of energy. Goku's Hakai powers up, then completely finishing the job. Is that it? It has to be over, right? They try and sense everything, looking around to make sure, and it seems like there's nothing. 21 Black isn't regenerating, and as for Zamasu, he's sealed away. Trunks thanks everyone for their help. Now, his timeline can finally return back to normal, although there still is one more loose end. Zamasu, in the past at least. Now that they know Zamasu is involved in this plan, they go immediately to Beerus and Whis, telling them of what's happened with him. But something different happens here. They can't just kill Zamasu, I mean, he hasn't done anything in the past, and eventually he does hear about his future self and what happened. He's berated, but he makes it clear that he hasn't thought of anything, or done anything yet. Of course, he's lying. He has thought about the plan even though he hasn't acted on it yet. But this is great for him. He got a heads up. He's gonna clean his act up for now, and think of a more secure plan. Hearing about his future self's failure lets him learn. It lets him see the flaws in that plan and make his own new one. He will enact the Zero Morals plan in due time, especially because he needs to avenge his 2 future selves, continuing the idea that they had in mind. He's under watch now, so he does need to wait a bit, and he needs to bide his time. But also, he stalks Universe 7, trying to figure out what to do. So apparently that future version of himself stole 21's body. And he was actually considering that, but yeah, that's not gonna work. Maybe it would be a better idea to steal Goku's body, although he's gonna need a much more sophisticated plan. The one that the other 2 Zamasus used didn't really work too well, but they had the right idea. Steal someone's body to get stronger, and then become immortal. Maybe they were planning on using Potara fusion, but Zamasu has a better idea. Why not do both of those wishes at once? Of course it's gonna be hard. Or is it? I mean, he's gonna need the Super Dragon Balls to steal Goku's body. Maybe he could just use another set of Dragon Balls to gain immortality at the same time, right? And he doesn't really need the Super Dragon Balls for that. He knows other ones exist. He just needs to research and find them. Or maybe he could find someone to help him, a pawn to help with his master plan. I won't say exactly what he's planning, but let's just say he's coming up with a scapegoat. That should be a good enough hit. Of course he's not going to attack right now, and he can't really look at Universe 7 too much. He's already under strict watch, so he needs to wait a bit for the heat to cool down. And he needs to be on his best behavior. We'll be seeing this in future parts. For now, we go back to Universe 7. Time has passed after the future Trunks arc, and soon enough, we get the announcement of the Tournament of Power. The great thing is, I don't need to come up with a completely different team here. It's pretty obvious who the team's going to be. It's the exact same as it was in canon, but instead of having to revive Frieza, they just have 21 on the team. I mean, it's pretty obvious to have her there. Okay, actually, I lied. There's another different person on the team. Roshi is replaced on the team with Majin Buu himself. Yeah, he doesn't fall asleep here. Well, he does fall asleep. But thanks to 21 being there, she's able to easily wake him up thanks to some of her magic. She's seen his strength, and she has used it too. She knows how valuable of an asset he could be, as long as he keeps himself under control. And this is going to make a pretty overpowered team. Not to say Frieza wasn't strong, of course he was. But having Majin Buu and Android 21 instead of Roshi and Frieza, that's definitely way better. And way less risky because they don't have to worry about Frieza turning on them or anything. These are two people that they know are on their side. Buu even gets into shape for this, excited at the prospect of this tournament. You also gotta consider too, Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan are much stronger than normal. Goku and Vegeta obviously have an extra training partner, making their training much more efficient, so they're beyond where they were originally. And for Gohan, it's obvious. He was a lot more motivated to fight here. And as shown in the previous parts, he is a lot stronger. So that should mean the tournament's going to be easy for Universe 7, right? Well, maybe not. Of course, Universe 7 team's going to be a lot stronger here. Pretty much everyone on the team is stronger to begin with. Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan have all benefited from 21 being part of the story. And with her being involved and getting 17 more involved with everyone, maybe he's even stronger too, which might even rub off on 18 and Krillin. But most importantly, the team has her and Majin Buu. Two people that they didn't have before who are both very strong. But before we go into the actual tournament, let's back up a bit and talk about some things that I didn't really talk about in the last part. 21 is getting more of control over Hit's time skip, as well as all of his other abilities. She wants to test them out in this tournament, especially fighting Hit for herself. She is getting stronger regardless, but she is mainly focused on technique, which is why she's trying to follow what Whis is teaching. He's been trying to get them to learn something, but no one knows what it is yet. Over the past year or so, they've been training towards it, specifically her and Goku. They feel like they can unlock this, and with her great research and analytical mind, she might be able to find a way to do this much more efficiently than normal. Knowing how her and Goku work after all, after studying the Saiyans for so long. As for both Goku and Vegeta, they are able to actually perfect Super Saiyan Blue at some point, making it a lot more efficient and more powerful. Goku even stacks Kaioken on top of it, but as for Vegeta, he's going for something else. As the other two train with Whis, he decides to train with Beerus, trying to get the properties of a god of destruction. After seeing what Goku did in the last arc, he wants to get the Hakai for himself, one-upping Goku and making an actual version of it. So while they're focused on whatever Whis is trying to teach them, he's going to be training under Beerus. Speaking of Beerus, by the way, he actually does get the candy beam. He's able to fully emulate the technique, and he's elated. He's able to make candy out of anything, which puts him in a very good mood, making him much more open to training with everyone. Specifically Vegeta. He could thank 21 for that. And now that we have that brief info out of the way, we can get into the tournament itself. Once they get there, it becomes pretty clear. Universe 7 is going to be one of the top dogs around there. They could tell that there's a lot of other strong fighters, but they're pretty confident in themselves. Plus, they have a pretty great strategy. 21 and Gohan are both leaders. Their idea is to have people stick together, but they also have an idea for Buu. Buu can heal people. Of course 21 can as well, but they mainly focus on Buu being a support here, as well as him being a powerhouse regardless. They had a really smart idea to have Buu separate himself, placing pieces of him on everyone else. It's kind of like what 21 did in the last arc, but instead of healing people, this will keep them in the ring. For example, if someone like Krillin gets knocked out of the ring, that part of Buu can tether him back in pretty easily, slingshotting him all the way back into the ring, making sure he doesn't actually fall out. And Buu is there to heal people after all too. And thus, the tournament itself begins. Universe 7 is able to make progress pretty quickly. One of the groups is Gohan and Piccolo. Ultimate Gohan was strong to begin with, but here he has Ultimate God, on top of the fact that he's been training more and more. This makes for a very powerful duo, and Gohan's able to take on pretty much anything. Another unique group is all the Android and Krillin together, who can each split up into two separate duos, such as 17 and 18, 18 and Krillin, 21 and 17, etc, etc. They all surprisingly have pretty great synergy and can fight pretty well. And these team-ups make things very easy and safe. But they also notice someone watching them in the stands, a familiar face. It's Zamasu. He's still here, and they decided that it would be good for him to come along and watch the tournament. Maybe he could actually see how good mortals actually are. Gowasu helps this be a learning experience for him, but Zamasu doesn't even know. Firsthand, he gets to see the people that defeated him, twice, two other versions of him. But this quote-unquote learning experience might have actually backfired. As Zamasu watches on, he gets more and more angered by the usage of godly powers. But what angers him most is one of the fights between Hit and Android 21. Because they begin using time abilities, and he takes note of this pretty quickly. He's fuming with anger, but he completely loses focus on his own universe, and doesn't even realize that they all got eliminated, meaning that he gets erased too. So, he gets erased while pretty angry. And he's gonna keep this anger with him. Hit is pretty interested to see 21 using his abilities. She's actually becoming pretty good with it. With two people manipulating time together fighting, this makes for a very interesting battle. And it makes it fun for both of them. As for Vegeta, he decides to take on Toppo. They can both tell, they're each students of a god of destruction. Toppo is an actual candidate, while Vegeta is just training under him. Vegeta's even wearing the earring, so Toppo could easily tell. The two start fighting, and at first Toppo's not even using that power. Vegeta wants to coax it out of him, and once he gets Toppo to use it, he's going to be able to use his own and show it off. And then he can finally test his abilities against someone who's pretty similar to him. But Toppo's not going to abandon his morals and do it yet. The two of them continue their fighting, as Vegeta continues trying to get into Toppo's head to make him use this power. It would be a shame if he doesn't get to fight him at full strength after all. He needs an equal to test his power against. The rest of the team continues showing off their great strength. We haven't actually covered Goku, and he begins fighting a bunch of other people from other universes, but he does have his sights set on Jiren, and eventually he knows he wants to fight Jiren himself. Even people in Universe 6 would interest him, but mainly he's focused on that guy. Jiren seems so strong. This would be a great person to test his powers against, see his strength, maybe even break his limits. He even sees that Vegeta's fighting someone from Universe 11 as well. It's Toppo, and he's only the second strongest there, and apparently he's a candidate for God of Destruction. Damn, if Jiren's even stronger than him, that means there's a lot of potential in that fight, and Goku's hyped up. But he does want to preserve some energy, so he continues fighting other people first, just to warm himself up even more and more. As for Buu, he's just having a ton of fun. He could basically go all out here, and the greatest thing about him is, he can't be eliminated at all. Anytime he gets hit by an attack, it won't kill him. He's just going to be able to regenerate pretty quickly, so he can't take damage. Plus, he's not going to run out of stamina. And in the off chance that he does get knocked out of the ring, which won't happen, he could tether himself back in, even splitting himself up and making a clone of himself in the ring. It's pretty much impossible to eliminate him unless someone is able to outsmart him and actually knock him out of the ring before he could tether himself in, or kill him, which would get them eliminated too. So, Buu's pretty much invincible here, and he's also fighting a bunch of strong people, which lets him have a lot of fun. It's been a while since he got to show off his power like this, and as I mentioned before, he's a great support for the team. But Buu is incredibly powerful regardless, so besides just having him as a support, he can defend himself pretty well and get some eliminations on his own. What about Goku though? Well, he is still working towards what Whis was trying to teach them, and he's actually made some good progress. Thanks to 21 being there, she is taking a kind of scientific approach. Of course she is training like normal too, but as I've mentioned throughout the series, she has some great research and some great scientific methods to actually help them unlock things faster. I mean, that is how they unlock Super Saiyan God. Instead of just studying stuff on the surface and actually teaching them things, she's able to look at things in a much more sophisticated manner, finding different ways to unlock things. That's the power of science in her eyes. This helps them train much more efficiently. And you also gotta remember, Goku is a prodigy to begin with. Having all this help him on top of that and his faster growth in general, and well, you have a pretty good combo in terms of learning things. He does get some eliminations, but he mostly sets his sights on Jiren. And just as Vegeta is fighting Toppo, he begins fighting Jiren. The best part for Vegeta is, he's able to push Toppo into using his God of Destruction mode. And for Goku, he realizes that even with perfected Blue Kaioken, that's not going to be enough for Jiren. So just around the same time, the two of them realize that they need to show off their full power. Or at least where their power is right now. Vegeta begins powering up, trying to match Toppo's strength, showing off something very similar as he transforms into Ultra Ego. Toppo knew it, he can use this power. Goku sees this as his cue. He begins transforming as well, calming himself and being surrounded by a unique godly aura, as he transforms into Ultra Instinct Omen. The two are able to use these powers, but they've only just recently got it, so it's kinda hard to utilize them fully. But the fact that they have access to them at all is a huge sign. They're much stronger than they would have been originally. And they could transform into these forms willingly. Even if they're not the most efficient things right now, they are the most powerful things that they have. This really helps even the odds between Goku and Jiren, as well as Vegeta and Toppo. Vegeta is able to defeat Toppo pretty easily. Ultra Ego seems far superior after all. And as for Goku, even though Ultra Instinct is running out of gas pretty quickly, he does receive some help. Buu joins in, healing Goku and giving him some more energy as he fights. This allows him to keep up Ultra Instinct for longer and longer periods of time. But Jiren still has power that he's suppressing. He begins showing off more and more of it. So, Goku shows off more of his own, even if it drains him quicker. This means Buu is mainly focused on healing Goku, but it's fine. They've eliminated most of the other strong fighters, and someone else joins in to help Goku. She hopes he doesn't mind, but 21 jumps in as well. Remember how I mentioned she's going down a similar path to Goku? Well, of course, if Goku can unlock this with her help, she can unlock it with her own help too, as she decides to show off Ultra Instinct as well. The gods look on in disbelief. Not just one mortal, but two of them got Ultra Instinct? The fact that anyone unlocked it to begin with is insane. But two people did it, and they're mortals. Whis is very proud of himself. That's two of his students. And of course, Beerus is pretty smug about it too, not to mention Vegeta's there as well, with Ultra Ego on his side. Of course, they're not even close to the complete Ultra Instinct yet. They're still an Omen. Obviously, this is still powerful, but they still have a long ways to go. Not just in terms of completing it, but in terms of even mastering it and getting even higher levels of Ultra Instinct. They are still very early on, but the fact that they have it at all is great. With two Ultra Instinct fighters fighting against Jiren, as well as Ultra Ego Vegeta, Ultimate God Gohan, and Buu, well, I don't even need to explain what happens here. No matter how strong Jiren is, this is just way too powerful for him. He's outnumbered by basically an entire team from Universe 7. And there are so many strong people there. And with their combined strength, it even surpasses his own. He's actually pretty impressed by this. And of course, he does get eliminated, meaning Universe 7 takes the win. But who would be the MVP here? I feel like it would be one of the leaders, either Gohan or 21. For the sake of this scenario, let's say it's Android 21 because she did get some pretty important eliminations. Her wish should be pretty obvious. Of course she would want to bring the multiverse back. She's gathered a bunch of data during this tournament. But she still needs more, and with the multiverse out there, she can gather way more data on way stronger fighters. She would be stupid not to bring it back. Of course, it's also the right thing to do. I mean, logically, there's no reason to wish for anything else when you have the Super Dragon Balls right there, and a bunch of universes just got eliminated. She could probably figure out that this might be some tests from Zeno. And with Zeno watching, she realized this is the best option. Wishing all the universes back is the most logical choice, not only for herself, but for the sake of others. It is the right thing to do after all. So, everything ends well, right? Well, not really. There's still some issues out there. With the multiverse being brought back, Zamasu is brought back as well. He hears what happened during the rest of the tournament. It's so disgusting. They're going even further to emulate godly powers. He's surprised that they actually made a wish to bring the universes back, but still, he's pissed off. After that display in the tournament, that didn't make him view mortals more favorably. He hates them even more now. In his eyes, they didn't earn this power. Well, actually, he has no qualms with Vegeta. Vegeta was selected by Beerus to be a God of Destruction candidate, or at least something of that nature, so he views it as fine. In his eyes, Vegeta is actually going down the right path. But as for Goku and 21, emulating Ultra Instinct without even actually being gods, that's disgusting. And the ways that they're obtaining it too, it's definitely not natural. And with 21's display of how she's using time abilities, as well as seeing Hit again too, Zamasu realized that he needs to enact his plan. But he still needs that scapegoat first, and he has the perfect idea. He's been researching Universe 7, figuring out about the Dragon Balls and such. He has a good plan, but he needs to be swift about it. One day, he briefly leaves Universe 11. Out in space, he finds exactly what he was looking for, the Galactic Patrol prison. His scapegoat is a literal goat. It's Moro. He's not going to team up with him or anything. Moro's not even going to know that Zamasu's helping him. He's going to use this guy as a distraction. Causing chaos in Universe 7 without anyone knowing it's him is really going to be helpful. And it'll mean someone's going to collect the Dragon Balls for him. It'll distract those mortals as he goes around the rest of the universe doing whatever he wants. With Moro being freed, the events of the Moro arc begin, and they go pretty normally. A little too normally. Obviously, the group doesn't know what normal is like for this. But Vegeta, 21, and Goku end up going to Namek, with Moro also going there to try and get the Dragon Balls for himself. And in Universe 11, Zamasu's watching over. He's got to be very swift about what he's about to do next. The whole reason he does this is if he causes chaos at all, he's going to be spotted right away and killed by one of the gods. But if he lets someone else cause the chaos and gather the Dragon Balls, he could do everything in one swift motion. Kill Goasu, go to Universe 7 and get the Dragon Balls for himself. He needs to become immortal first without the use of the Super Dragon Balls. And once he is immortal, then he can get the Super Dragon Balls with a time ring. But his plan isn't working. Thanks to 21 and Goku having Ultra Instinct, fighting Moro was a lot easier than he thought. But still, as Zamasu watches on, he sees that the Dragon Balls are being gathered on Namek. Thanks to Moro having a henchman there. Perfect, someone is still doing all the work for him. He just needs Moro to last a little bit longer. The fight is really dragging on long. And then he sees, all the Dragon Balls are in place. It's time to enact his plan. Without hesitation, he kills Goasu. Quickly, then he goes to Universe 7, teleporting to Namek. He teleports right to Cranberry, who has all the Dragon Balls, killing him pretty quickly too. And he summons Porunga immediately. Moro and our heroes turn around, seeing Porunga in the sky. What the hell? Moro's pissed. Did Cranberry betray him? Moro rushes over, with everyone following him trying to stop him quickly. But Moro can tell there's something wrong. Zamasu's wishes are pretty simple. His first one is to make him immortal. His second one is to seal Moro back away. Back to where he came from. Zamasu doesn't want to help him after all. He'll kill him later. And his third wish is an odd one. He tells Porunga to destroy all the Dragon Balls besides the Super Dragon Balls. Meaning the Dragon Balls on Earth, Namek, and even Planet Cereal are eliminated. By the time everyone gets there, it's too late. They see Zamasu standing there, smirking. He then teleports away. His plan is going well so far, and he's already immortal, so it's going to be hard to stop him. But even though he's immortal, he still needs power, and he couldn't get that from a wish from Porunga. But he knows exactly where to go. Thanks to his time ring, he could travel through time and get another set of Super Dragon Balls, even if they were used recently in the Tournament of Power. The group is completely confused. What the hell is going on? Little do they know, Part 2 of the Zero Mortals plan has been set in motion. After destroying the Dragon Balls on Namek, Zamasu immediately teleports to Shin. He's gonna kill the Supreme Kai here, to make sure that the God of Destruction, Beerus, doesn't get involved either. And this is a pretty simple task to do. Before Shin can even react at all, he's immediately killed, which also does kill Beerus by extension, also putting Whis out of commission too. He needs to be swift about this after all. He can't waste any time explaining his plan or whatever. He just needs to do it. He just needs to act. No monologues. He then teleports around, gathering the Super Dragon Balls, at least the ones that he doesn't have already. He knows the location of each of them. He just needs to bring them together now. And this is pretty simple too. But the Super Dragon Balls are just used for the tournament power, right? Well, Zamasu has a time ring, so he just goes into the future and does this. Of course he's going to use the Dragon Balls to steal someone's body. He's chosen Goku this time. And this isn't the same Goku, it's a Goku from a year in the future. Which should just be even more helpful for Zamasu than he thought. He didn't even consider this when making his plan. It's a nice bonus that he has. The wish is made, and he steals that future Goku's body, creating Goku Black. Oh yeah, it's time for a new outfit too. Quickly he gives himself a change of clothes, and now he's ready. Within minutes after everything just happened on Namek, Zamasu immediately teleports back. Or what they now see as Goku Black. They have no other better name for him, so they're just gonna call him that like they did with 21 Black. But Goku's surprised. He wasn't affected by this, and then realizes it's that time ring. That's how he did it, and that's why Goku's still fine. But if that's a Goku from the future, that must be a very strong Goku, because Goku's already strong as is in the present. But Vegeta says it might be okay. Remember with 21 Black, Zamasu couldn't immediately get access to all of 21's powers, or use them to their fullest potential. But now, as Goku Black, there's something different. Zamasu's accounted for this. He studied Goku, he even watched him fight on the tournament power, and he's been intensely training himself, so he's more than prepared. And he welcomes a fight too, but his anger is bubbling up as well. This is the key to his power, and he summons it, channeling all of his anger. Goku's body is so used to any Super Saiyan forms at this point that it also helps Zamasu transform too. He was hoping for something greater, but he transforms into his own version of Super Saiyan Rose. Well, the power in this is certainly good. But Zamasu still needs more, and he's gonna keep working towards it. So, he welcomes him to fight him. He is immortal after all, so every time he gets injured, he's only gonna get stronger once he regenerates. He was able to access it that quickly? Well yeah, unlike the last Zamasu, he had the knowledge of every other Zamasu that was trying to act this plan out. He saw their mistakes, and he also had so much more knowledge on Goku as well as his own training. All that combined lets him have a more efficient use of this body, but still, it's not 100% efficient. He needs to access more things. It is Goku from the future after all, and he definitely has stronger powers. The group comes up with a plan. Okay, for now, Gohan and 21 should be enough to take him on alone. Here's 21's plan. Find more Dragon Balls. He might not know of the ones in Universe 6. Of course he did get the Super Dragon Balls there, but he didn't have time to destroy the Dragon Balls on Universe 6's Namek, if they do have some. But how are they supposed to get there? They don't have Beerus or Whis anymore. But 21 knows exactly what to do. Her and Bulma have been working on something. After seeing the multiverse, they've worked on interdimensional travel. I mean, how could they not? It's awesome, and unlike time travel, it's not something illegal, and it could be more useful instead of relying on Whis for everything. So they have been working on it, and it's kind of experimental, and it might also kill Goku and Vegeta, but still, it's worth the risk. Wait, it might kill them? Well yeah, it's an experimental interdimensional travel device. It's either that, or let Zamasu kill them. Alright, well, they know what they want to do. Goku teleports him and Vegeta back to Earth, planning to go to Universe 6, while Gohan and 21 get ready to fight. Zamasu wonders where they teleported off to, but he doesn't question it. He'll just kill these two first and he'll find those others. He tried to get them before they escaped, but it was already too late. Whatever. He needs to get stronger before fighting them anyways, so these two will be a perfect appetizer. He immediately launches in, and the two of them transform. 21 takes out all of her godly powers, and Gohan goes into Ultimate God. Their plan is just hold him off for now, but 21 also has her own idea. She wants to seal him away. This could work. Using her magic, as long as she's able to find an opening, she'll be able to easily seal him away, stopping him, and this is really the only way to do so because he's immortal after all. But again, Zamasu is prepared for this. He knows to watch out for 21. Her magic is a big issue. As he lunges towards them, he's not preparing to attack. No, he's preparing for something else. He completely shifts his focus at 21, and in an instant, he summons his magical abilities as a Kai. What the hell? He used 21's own plan against her without even knowing her plan. But he suspected this. Catching her off guard, he was able to seal her away. And now he doesn't need to worry about her magic. Is he gonna do the same for Gohan? Nope. He needs to use Gohan to get stronger. If he doesn't fight, he's not gonna get stronger as a Saiyan, and he's not gonna access Goku's true power. And Gohan sees the odds he's up against. He's facing an immortal foe, one who can use magical abilities, and one who's growing stronger as he fights. But Gohan chuckles. That's not gonna be too big of a deal. I mean, he grows stronger as he fights too. And he lets Goku Black know this. Even if he's gonna get stronger, it doesn't matter. Gohan's gonna grow just as fast as him, if not faster. This serves to piss Goku Black off as the two of them begin to fight. In Universe 6, Goku and Vegeta arrive. Oh great, they didn't get killed by that machine. Now it's time to actually go to Namek, which is pretty easy because Goku can teleport. But as he's thinking, he realizes, if Zamasu has a future version of his body, just as he theorized before, he's definitely gonna be stronger, but how much stronger? And Vegeta's also considering this too. He probably has more power, more techniques as well. Oh god, wait a second. What if he has Ultra Instinct? Well yeah, because Goku's training towards that right now, and he does have it on command. He has Omen on command right now, and thankfully Goku Black didn't use that right away, so maybe he still needs to work towards it. But no, Vegeta's talking about beyond that. Goku knows he hasn't mastered Ultra Instinct yet, but maybe a year from now, he does. Yeah, that's right too. So not only could Goku Black get access to Omen pretty easily, maybe he can access the true Ultra Instinct. They need to work as quickly as possible. Back in Universe 7, Zamasu is trying to hone his power. He's getting angrier as he fights Gohan, but he realizes too, calmness will bring out another type of power. It's exactly what Goku and Vegeta were trying to theorize, Ultra Instinct. Of course, Zamasu knows about it. He saw part of the performance in the Tournament of Power and heard about everything afterwards too. Plus, researching it himself and learning as much as he can about Ultra Instinct, he was trying to practice this himself. Of course, he couldn't unlock it, the Gods of Destruction even could. But Zamasu devoted himself to this, trying to learn everything about it. And if Goku's body can unlock it with ease, maybe Zamasu could tap into that. He thinks of it like this. Ultra Instinct is a treasure that he needs to attain. For everyone else, it's tough to get. But for Goku, he has access to it whenever he wants. All Zamasu needs is the key to actually open the treasure chest. And once he finds that key, all that power from Goku, including Ultra Instinct, will be his. But this fight is tough against Gohan, and Gohan realizes that Goku Black is going to be an issue. He can't hurt him too much because it's not going to do anything, and it's also just going to make him stronger if anything. So, Gohan's fighting defensively, and this is perfectly fine for him. He's so incredibly powerful, even probably beyond Goku Black by this point, at least before he grows more and more. But again, Gohan grows as he fights too, and his defenses are getting much better. He's trying to draw this out, trying to buy time and trying to annoy Goku Black. If he keeps him angry, he won't be able to tap into that Ultra Instinct power. The kind of power derived from calmness and an open mind. It's perfect, it keeps him pissed off, and it buys time. But will it buy enough time? Goku Black realizes what's happening. Even though Gohan's able to fight him like this, he needs to change things. He knows Gohan can see right through his plan, and he commends him. For a mortal, he's actually quite smart. But that doesn't mean Zamasu is going to treat him any differently. Look at him. He's utilizing godly powers after all, making a mockery of them just like the others. Not to mention, he's getting in the way of his Zero Mortals plan, or the new version of it. The Neo Zero Mortals plan will work out perfectly, and Gohan will be one of the first mortals that he actually disposes of, alongside all the others that he's already killed. He doesn't let Gohan's tactics get to him. For once, Gohan being arrogant in a fight is actually working, and he's doing it on purpose too. But now, Zamasu can see right through it. He just needs to ignore this. If Gohan's gonna fight defensively, he'll do the same. He'll draw this out as long as he can, and he'll remain calm while he does it all. And he can feel it. That power, it's bubbling up within him. He just needs to get rid of his rage. His rage unlocks Super Saiyan and that power. But his calmness, his open mind, his intellect, that'll unlock Ultra Instinct, which is what he truly needs right now. Gohan then hits him with a powerful attack, and Goku Black openly welcomes it. It does a good amount of damage, and he begins laughing. This is only going to make him grow even stronger. But something weird happens. It's not healing. He looks down at the wound. His arm, it's partially mangled from this attack. And he feels the pain from it, but it's not healing. Nothing's happening. Then Gohan realizes, the wish, they were able to do it. And just in the nick of time, Goku and Vegeta appear as well, immediately teleporting back to Namek. They had 3 wishes, although they wanted to restore the Super Dragon Balls, but they couldn't. The Dragon Balls in Universe 6's Namek weren't powerful enough, although they were able to accomplish a few things. For one, they reversed Zamasu's immortality. Second, they revived Shin. And third, they were used to teleport them here immediately, just so they didn't waste any more time. Because they realized time is what they really needed, although it seems they're still too late. Goku Black's beginning to tap into this power. His hair, it turns from pink to black, going back to normal. He's in his base form. He closes his eyes, and he begins getting surrounded by a mysterious power. Yes, this is it, but he needs to remain calm. He shouldn't get too excited. His face is completely blank at first, and then the aura explodes out of him. Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan look on in awe. It's just like what Vegeta and Goku were theorizing. This isn't just Ultra Instinct Omen, this is the true Ultra Instinct. He's surrounded by a potent aura. His hair, it's purely silver. He opens his eyes, glaring at the Saiyans. So close, but so far. Who cares if he's not immortal anymore? He'll still make this work. Ultra Instinct will easily lead him to victory. Looks like they're gonna have to fight it out. Goku powers up into Ultra Instinct Omen. Vegeta, he goes into Ultra Ego. And Gohan, he summons all the power he can with Ultimate God. The 3 of them together actually are kind of enough to hold off Goku Black, but Goku Black's growing stronger and stronger as he uses this. He doesn't have much control on Ultra Instinct at first, but the more he works with it, the better he gets. And he begins dodging all their attacks. And this serves to piss Vegeta off. But wait, he gets an idea. He looks at Gohan and Kakarot. That clown and his son, they could fuse. But he doesn't want to give it away. He tells them he'll buy some time, do that stupid dance that they did before. He'll hold off Goku Black for now. He wants to settle the score with him after all. This might be a great test for Ultra Ego. And they see what Vegeta means. Yeah, maybe this could actually work. But they need to work quickly. Vegeta can only do so much. Ultra Ego is incredibly powerful, but Ultra Instinct Goku Black is just getting stronger and stronger by the minute, and soon enough, his power is going to eclipse Vegeta by a significant margin. Goku and Gohan retreat temporarily. Goku Black wonders where they're going, and he launches a blast at them, but Vegeta opened his mouth, launching a beam, completely obliterating Goku Black's blast, and then jumping in front of him, trying to launch a Hakai. Thanks to Ultra Instinct, he's barely able to avoid this Hakai. But while he's midair, Vegeta then delivers a kick. This actually does land, and the power within it is insane. Ah, the power of a god of destruction. He remembered seeing Vegeta use this. Well, he compliments Vegeta. At least he actually earned this power. This was bestowed by a god, as it should be, and he tells Vegeta this isn't personal. Those two, they're making a mockery of godly powers without earning them. But Vegeta was righteously bestowed with this power. Beerus selected him to teach him this, and Vegeta laughs. He thinks he wants to be a god of destruction? No way, he's just using this power for himself. He's gonna remain immortal, and he's gonna use this power as much as he wants. He's gonna grow stronger as a Saiyan. And that really hits a nerve with Goku Black. He immediately lunges in, and his anger, it's clouding his judgment, and it's making it harder for him to utilize Ultra Instinct. Vegeta's getting under his skin. He begins chuckling, trying to play with him. But the two of them are then distracted. They sense a massive burst of power. Vegeta takes this opportunity, trying to charge up another Hakai. Once again, Goku Black is barely able to get out of the way, although it does singe him a bit. And Vegeta follows up with a powerful blast. He's not going to be distracted by this fusion, as Goku Black is trying to figure out what's going on. But someone then appears right behind him. He tries to dodge their attack, but it's like this fighter immediately predicted him dodging it. The fusion thanks Vegeta. It's great to be back. Gohan is there, an Ultra Instinct only. This might not be the completed Ultra Instinct, but with the power of Goku and Gohan combined, this father and son fusion will be more than enough to defeat Zamasu. Because that's who he is. He isn't Goku. And he tells Goku Black this. He can't utilize that power because he doesn't fully have access to that body. It's the same thing that Vegeta's been saying too. He's not a true Saiyan. Face it, the mortals are simply just greater than him. Hence why he took Goku's body, and he can't even utilize it properly. This pisses off Goku Black even more. And something weird happens. He drops out of Ultra Instinct. The power was fleeting. As he gets angrier and angrier, it clouds his judgment. He does get stronger too, but Ultra Instinct isn't about being angry. He needs to have a calm mind, and he doesn't have that. Fine, whatever, he doesn't need it. He powers up, going into Super Saiyan Rose. No, going beyond that. He's already summoned enough power as is. Who cares about Ultra Instinct? Yeah, he knows a workaround. He tries to summon more power while in Rose. He needs to pull out all the stops. But it's definitely not enough. He still doesn't have access to Goku's full power. Rose could probably go even farther beyond this. And as for Ultra Instinct, he can't just tap into that willingly anymore. Gohan laughs. It looks like they didn't even need to fuse. They just needed to piss him off. This is how someone truly controls Ultra Instinct. The fusion's movements are all purposeful. No lost movements or anything. It's almost mechanical in a way. Everything is perfect about the way he moves. His defense, the way he's dodging, everything about it. But he also knows he needs to make this quick. But Vegeta's already way ahead of them. The fusion kicks Goku Black towards Vegeta. And Goku Black can sense it behind him, an overwhelming power. It's malicious even. It feels like there's a colossal giant right behind him. Someone that's about to completely decimate him. He feels it. It's certain death. That's what this feeling is. Vegeta shouts, Hakai. A massive purple glow illuminates the planet. Goku Black is quickly turned to dust, then followed by a massive explosion of energy. They did it. They defeated him. Not long after, Shin, Beerus, and Whis teleport in, trying to figure out what the hell just happened. The fighters try to explain, as Shin also tries to freeze 21 from the seal. Damn, she missed out on such a good fight. But whatever, as long as their plan worked, that's really all that matters. And Beerus has to say, he's very impressed with them. Of course, there's still damage to the other universes, but it's not their fault, so it's not their responsibility to clean it up. They'll try and sort things out and work with the other gods of destruction to try and fix this. They also kinda gotta keep it under Zeno's radar because, well, they don't want to anger him too much because he might just erase them. But these mortals are so powerful. They were able to defeat this insane threat and work so quickly. They were smart, they were strong, they were everything that they needed to be. And Beerus realizes, maybe he could have done more as a god of destruction. Maybe he wasn't doing his job effectively enough. But that won't be an issue. He turns to Vegeta in 21. He's been thinking a lot about this. And he commends Vegeta for his effort. Although he knows Vegeta doesn't want to be a god of destruction. But for 21, now's the perfect opportunity. He wants to officially make her a candidate. That way, somewhere down the line, she'll become Universe 7's next god of destruction. Wow, that's strange considering she did absolutely nothing in this fight. But he tells her to not be so humble. She did formulate this entire plan after all. And sure, she wasn't present in the fight, but that wasn't her fault. Without her plan and everything, everyone would have been dead right now. And Beerus does know her power is pretty high. Even with Vegeta's great power and Ultra Ego, 21 could probably even match that. She's already going down this path anyways, so why not make it official? Although now everyone needs to clean up Zamasu's mess. So even though she does want to get to training right away for this, Beerus says that she needs to get involved in some diplomacy. Great, this is her reward for saving the multiverse. Well, whatever, it should be interesting and fun. But Beerus commends everyone else too. Glad to see the usage of their strength. And after sensing that overwhelming power from Goku Black, Whis turns to Goku. It looks like he is going to complete Ultra Instinct. And he'll definitely have a better grasp on it than Zamasu. It might be pretty close around the corner too. I mean, Zamasu only went a year in the future. And Goku's hyped up. The next chapter of everyone's lives is about to begin. And this is where we'll end off this scenario. So, what did you guys think about this part? What did you guys think about the series as a whole? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video. If we hit that like goal, it'll let me know you guys want to see more videos like this, and it really does help out the channel. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon so you're notified about any future uploads to my channel, including more videos like this one. Anyways, thank you all for watching, thanks for supporting the scenario, and I'll see you all in my next video.